Good morning, my dear students. This is Shiraz, your assistant educator. Hope you all are doing well. The spirit that you feel in the morning before going to have the class is the one that stays with you all the day. If you feel excited and eager to learn, so the rest of the day becomes easy and full of excitement for you. But if you feel down and show no enthusiasm, you just drag the day with no productivity. I pray for a happy, healthy, and prosperous life for you all. May God always bless you and help you when you need. Let's start the class. In today's class, we are going to discuss about inequality in India. This is the last chapter of civics. We are going to complete civics with this chapter. In this chapter, you will learn about some of the ways in which people have struggled against inequality. First, let's have an idea what equality is. Dear students, equality is a principle recognized by the Indian Constitution. It states that all Indians are equal before the law and there should not be any discrimination on the basis of caste, religion, gender, or financial status. All adults have the right to vote without any bias, and this is a powerful tool they can use to choose or replace their representatives. But in reality, people are treated unequally on the basis of religion, gender, caste, etc. There are many examples in history where people have come together to protest the inequality they are facing. As you have already read in this book, the Indian Constitution recognizes all Indians as equal before the law and states that no persons can be discriminated against because of their religion, gender, caste, or whether they are rich or poor. All adults in India have the equal right to vote during elections, and this power over the ballot box has been used by people to elect or replace their representatives. But this feeling of equality that the ballot box provides, because the vote of one person is as good as that of another, does not extend to most people's lives. As you have read, the increasing privatization of health services and the neglect of government hospitals have made it difficult for most poor people like Kanta, Hakim Sheikh, and Aman to get good quality health care. These people do not have the resources to afford expensive private health services. Similarly, the man who sells juice does not have the resources to compete with all of the major companies who sell branded drinks through expensive advertising. Swapna does not have sufficient resources to grow cotton and so has to take a loan from the trader to grow her crop. This forces her to sell her cotton at a lower price. Melanie, like the millions of domestic workers across the country, is forced to endure the insults and hardship of working as a domestic help because she has no resources to set up something on her own. Students, poverty and the lack of resources continue to be a key reason why so many people's lives in India are highly unequal. On the other hand, the Ansaris were discriminated against not because they did not have the resources. In fact, despite having the money to pay the required rent, they were not able to find an apartment for over a month. People were reluctant to loan them an apartment because of their religion. Similarly, the main reason that the teachers forced Om Prakash Valmiki to sweep the schoolyard was because he was Dalit. You have already read that the work women do is often considered of less value than that done by the man. All of these persons are discriminated against primarily because of their social and cultural background as well as because they are women. Students, discrimination on the basis of a person's religion, caste, and gender is another significant factor for why people are treated unequally in India. Often, poverty and lack of dignity and respect for certain communities and groups come together in such powerful ways that it is difficult to identify where one aspect of inequality ends and the other begins. As you have read, Dalit, Adivasi, and Muslim girls drop out of school in large numbers. This is the combined outcome of poverty, social discrimination, and the lack of good quality school facilities for these communities. The Indian Constitution recognizes all Indians as equal before the law and states no person can be discriminated on any ground. All adults in India have the equal right to vote during elections, and the power has been used by people to elect or replace their representatives. The vote of one person is as good as that of another. Poverty and the lack of resources are the key reasons for equality in India. In other words, we can say that poverty and the lack of resources are the main reason for inequality in India. And discrimination on the basis of a person's religion, caste, and gender is another significant factor for why people are treated unequally in India. Dalit, Adivasi, and Muslim girls drop out of school in large numbers. This is a combined outcome of poverty, social discrimination, and the lack of good quality school facilities for these community. Struggles for equality. Throughout the world, in every community, village, city, and town, you will find that there are some people who are known and well respected because of their fights for equality. These people may have stood up against an act of discrimination that they faced or which they witnessed, or they may be well respected because they treat all persons with dignity and are therefore trusted and called upon to resolve issues in the community. Often, some of these persons become more widely recognized because they have the support to represent large number of people who have united to address a particular issue of equality. In India, there are several struggles in which people have come together to fight for issues that they believe are important. In chapter 5, you have read about the methods used by the women's movement to raise issue of equality. The Tawa Matsya Sangh in Madhya Pradesh is another example of people coming together to fight for an issue. There are many such struggles, such as those among beedi workers, fisher folk, agricultural laborers, slum dwellers, and each group is struggling for justice in its own way. There are many attempts to form cooperatives or other collective ways by which people can have more control over resources. People are fighting for their rights and equality throughout the world, trying to end the discrimination which they face. Women's struggle and movement for equality was one such group fighting for their rights. The Tava Matsya Sangh in Madhya Pradesh is also an example of people coming together to fight for an issue. Here, one question will come in your mind: what is Tava Matsya Sangh? So, Tava Matsya Sangh is a federation of fish workers' cooperatives. It is an organization fighting for the rights of displaced forest dwellers of the Satpura forest in Madhya Pradesh. In 1994, the government gave private contractors the right to fish in the Tawa reservoir. Students, Tawa is the name of a river which is the tributary of Narmada River of central India, means Madhya Pradesh. However, these contractors drove the local people away and got cheap labor from outside for their work. Also, the contractors threatened the villagers who were unwilling to leave by bringing in hoodlums. The villagers stood united and decided that they had to set up an organization and do something to protect their rights. This is how the Tava Matsya Sangh (TMS) was formed. The Sangh organized rallies and a Chakka Jam road blockade. In this manner, they demanded their rights to continue fishing for their livelihoods. In response to their protest, the government created a committee to assess the issue. The committee recommended that fishing rights be granted to the villagers for their livelihood. In 1996, the Madhya Pradesh government decided to give to the people displaced by the Tawa Dam the fishing rights for the reservoir. A 5-year lease agreement was signed 2 months later. On January 2, 1997, people from 33 villages of Tawa started the new year with the first catch. With the TMS taking over, the fish workers were able to increase their earnings substantially. This was because they set up the cooperative which would buy the catch from them at a fair price. The cooperative would then arrange to transport and sell this in the markets where they would get a good price. They have now begun to earn 3 times more than they earned earlier. The TMS has also begun giving the fish workers loans for repair and the buying of new nets. By managing to earn a higher wage as well as preserving the fish in the reservoir, the TMS has shown that when people's organizations get their rights to livelihood, they can be good managers. So, what happened in 1996? As a result of public demonstrations, the government had to give the right fishing to the people itself. It resulted in formation of a cooperative society. So, cooperative society is people come together, all the fishermen came together and formed their own society where they had everything from procuring the nets, procuring the boats for taking out the fishes, selling those in the market, earning the profit. Everything was governed by the fishermen themselves. So they established their own cooperative as Tava Matas sang, and finally they had a role in the society and they had an equal stand. So, dear students, Constitution definitely let people equal. It's a kind of living document that exists and has a real meaning in our lives because it allows active participation of the people. So far, what kind of issues we had discussed in this class 7 political science, a kind of a sum of all of those. So in few of the lectures we talked about the privatization of health sector, its impact on the common man, and then we talked about the big business houses, how they invest a lot of money in branding, advertisement, and they exert their influence over media. Then we talked about the work that women does and the low value that is being given to the work and that's not respected as it should be. We also talked about small farmers and their problems and the pathetic state despite the efforts that they put in. They get very less amount of the hard work they are putting in. And all of these through these lectures, we have been focusing on one major thing that is equality in the society. Bringing people at par, maintaining the dignity and self-respect of the common people. Students, this is the core of the struggle for equality in a democracy. The dignity and self respect of each person and their community can only be realized if they have adequate resources to support and nurture their families and if they are not discriminated against. So, those are the few things that we have been addressing throughout these lectures in political science. Here, we had completed the chapter. In next class, we'll continue with question answer of the same chapter. Till then, take care of yourself. Thank you.